But when I'm explaining like Fierce as just like a company or like as the work environment, it's very much like, you know, it's a fun place to be. Like I'm working with all of my friends pretty much. I don't feel like I'm at work really. You know, we come and we hang out, but we all like lock in and get our stuff done, and you know.
Welcome back to Torch Talk, the podcast where we spotlight bold local leaders leading their businesses with grit and purpose. Today, though, I have Garrett Detweiler, our Fierce's photographer, videographer, and Vincent Fiorita, our SEO specialist. And so we're going to have a little chat about some Fierce marketing role, all of the fun things. So welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
We're so excited to be here today.
Absolutely.
Especially Vinny.
We're going to bring the energy up. Okay. So, Garrett, actually, this is one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Both of your anniversary months with Fierce is in September. So, Garrett, you hit 2 years this September, and you hit 1 year just this month or in September. So, why don't you, I would like to know, like, what does 1 year with Fierce look like for you? This is your first kind of real job out of college. So kind of give us some highlights, highs and lows, good, bad.
Well, I don't, it was crazy that it was even already a year. Like I can't even believe that it's already been a year, but so it went really fast. But I've really enjoyed it. I think I enjoy the work environment a lot more than being in school, because I hated, you know, being in classes all day and then having to go home and have like tons of work to do outside of classes and everything else, and like super stressful. And I think I just like this environment a lot more, being able to come to work. It's still fun. Like our environment is super fun to be a part of. You know, we come and we enjoy each other's company while also getting all of our work done. And then days over, kind of, you know, it's still in the back of my mind a little bit, but I'm not like stressing out, you know, having to go home and do a bunch of extra homework and a bunch of nonsense. And I've really enjoyed, you know, work a lot more than school. So
Was that surprising to you?
no,
What were you
I think I was really looking forward to being out of school and actually just, you know, being working, because, you know, now I'm actually making money while I'm doing the work, and there's a whole, it's like less stressful overall than school for me, I think. So
When I finished my last college class, like I graduated, I was like, I am never going back to school again.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, I'm going to go get my master's or my PhD, I'm like, why? I mean, I do know why, but like I have no motivation to ever go back either. Actually, I was burnt out after college for a little while, and I didn't want to learn anything. And then later, like I really love to learn things, but it took a while. Literally, I feel like my brain was done. I was like, I just needed a break for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't mind like learning new things, but it's like I really got to just do it at my own pace. If I want to learn something, I'll pursue it when I want to. I don't want to, you know, I don't want all this stuff being forced.
Well, you're
on me
learning
for
real
with-
world things too. It's not like you're sitting in a philosophy class
Yeah.
and learning something that you're never going to actually use.
That's true.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite thing about your job? Because you went to school for cybersecurity. It's a little bit different than what you're actually doing. We kind of twisted your arm into trying something. What do you like most about what you do now?
I just think I like working with all the different clients' websites and seeing, you know, the different aspects of each website, and just like really digging into how they're made. And like obviously web development isn't like my main purpose here, but it's kind of fun to mess around with those aspects. And like if we need a new page, you know, I can kind of throw up some stuff on a new page if, you know, we don't gotta get Dylan to make a whole new page and that kind of stuff. I like just messing around with the different aspects of the website.
Is that I feel like that might be a little bit surprising to you though. Like web development was never on your like horizon of like, oh, I think I might be interested in that. Or was it?
I don't know. I don't think it's a huge surprise. I mean, yeah, it was never like my focus at all, but I don't know. I just think it's fun. Like ever since I like started dabbling in that since I've been here, it's I don't know. I've really enjoyed that part of it. So
Garrett. Okay, so you've been here 2 years. So one whole year longer than Vince, which in Fierce time is like 10 years. And
Yeah.
I literally feel like you've been with us for that long.
It feels like that.
What do you think the difference is though going from 1 to 2? Like what happens at Fierce in your second year?
That's a great question. So I feel like for me, it's a lot of that first year is, I mean, it's kind of applicable to Vinny, where he graduated college and came into the work environment and is learning, okay, here's kind of what we do. Here's my role. And for me, it's kind of similar. And I came from obviously a position before this that was a little more your typical 9 to 5. I was doing marketing. So, pretty social media, PPC, SEO, all stuff that I'm not good at. And then I came here and it's just a completely different work environment. I mean,
it was actually a little scary for you coming because you like stability.
Oh yeah.
You like security, and you were coming from a very stable, secure place into something that you really didn't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that first year, I feel like for me was kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, learning, what am I actually doing? Like, what does my job actually involve? And then that second year is like, okay, now that I've actually learned what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do it, applying it to all of our clients. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's that first year is really like learning the difference and even just like the cultural difference. And then that second year is actually, I feel like I've been better able to apply what we do. And I also feel like it's been a little bit different, especially for me, because when I started, like, it was maybe we had 12 people. And so like I was doing all of like the contacting clients, setting up shoots, like doing all of the like pre-production work. I mean, like the planning work and the execution. Whereas now we've got Lainey and Kelsey that are project managers that do the planning, and then I'll do pre-production and execution. And so like I feel like that's even changed a little bit too, where now I'm doing more of like what I'm actually good at and less of the like logistics.
Well, and in the words of my favorite business coach, Chris Beck, I'll give you a little shout out. We need to keep, like, you have the surgeon do surgery, right? So he came from a medical background, so all of his analogies for us are in medical terms. But you keep the person who's specialized in something doing the thing that they're specialized in. And that has even, like, we've been looking at your capacity this year already. That has opened up. We're going to have, people on the content team go get their drone license. And we need to be able to expand the capacity within the team and their skill set so that you can really do most of what you're good at, which is videography. It's like what you're the most skilled at. It's the thing that we need you to be the most free to do, and because you're doing it at the highest level, the highest quality. And then that'll also give you a chance to kind of mentor other team members and help them grow in their skill set. So I'm excited to see what happens with that.
That's the goal.
We'll see. We got the first one taking their test in October. So
October 13th.
It's like you end up being like a mini pilot when you have to go take that test about.
I've heard supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly you have to take all of the same, like the test is exactly the same as a pilot's test, except for the actual functioning of like a plane. So you don't have to like test anything about like how to actually fly.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Air class space, it's wild.
It was ridiculously hard, and like 95% of it is totally not applicable.
Well, and you and I are different. I don't even have my drone license anymore. I think it's expired at this point, but
you have to watch a PowerPoint.
I don't want to. I'm good.
Just saying.
But you're a little bit more daring than I am. So the air class space doesn't make sense because I'm not going more than 100 yards over a house, or 50 probably. Yeah. I'm not that high. You're a little bit more like, I'm willing to send this down 2 miles and I won't see it. Maybe not 2 miles. That's an exaggeration, but
I mean, if I could do it, I would.
Yeah. I'm scared to not see the drone.
Well, but there's a lot of like built-in things.
I know, but I don't trust them.
Well, so
okay, let's talk about why I don't trust them. Because what has happened to you?
I mean, we've crashed a couple of times. That's just because there's no sensors on the sides. Front, back, top, bottom, it's fine. And when you're around an airport, so like Monday I was for Walnut Creek Metals, I was doing a shoot, and it was right by Akron Canton, and it wouldn't let me go over 130 feet.
Yeah.
And like no matter what I wanted to do. So it's like, I mean,
there's a lot of safety.
The test is pointless because it's not even going to let you do the things that are dangerous. And I don't need to know how to read the National Weather Service's weather reports because I can just use the weather app. I don't care what the wind speed is. It was totally pointless. Totally pointless. But
you got any interest in becoming a drone pilot as well, Vince?
No, I don't think I would use that too much.
Okay, so how do you guys describe when you're talking about your job, like how do you describe fierce to other people?
I mean, when I explain like my actual job, so many people like don't know what SEO is. So I'm always I'm just kind of like, yeah, I help manage client websites, build some websites here and there, maybe.
That's much easier for people to understand than you're like,
it's
I
so
help
much
people
harder
rank on Google.
Well, because I'm always like, yeah, I do SEO, and they're like, never heard of that before, and I'm like, yeah, well, so I'm not gonna.
You should play it off like it's super secretive, like you're in the Secret Service. Make it sound like mysterious.
Top secret SEO.
Mm-hmm. It does feel a little top secret sometimes. I think to both us and clients, it's a little bit like it's a puzzle and we got to figure it out.
It's kind of a foggy area for a lot of people, I feel like so. But when I'm explaining like Fierce as just like a company or like as the work environment, it's very much like, you know, it's a fun place to be. Like I'm working with all of my friends pretty much. I don't feel like I'm at work really. You know, we come and we hang out, but we all like lock in and get our stuff done, and you know.
I always say fierce is fast, but it's really hard to understand that until you're actually here. So, what about you, Garrett?
I feel like Vinny kind of nailed it. Like it's fierce is fast, but fierce is fun. Like there are times that things are very high pressure and very stressful, but
I think that's marketing as a whole.
Yeah,
though. It's not just.
But we also have such high standards that I think sometimes it's not just get it done. Like I know like a lot of the agencies that like I've worked with in the past, like it was just like get it done. And like if the client, like for example with SEO, like in my previous job we worked with a company that did SEO, and like they would send us SEO reports and just bury all the bad numbers in the report and show you all the good stuff. So like Fierce is fast and it's high. Little ad for us, it's fast but it's high quality, and so like that puts a lot of pressure on, you know, Vinny to do good on SEO, me to do good content. But when you're doing it with people that you genuinely have a good time with and that you care about and care about you, it makes it so much easier because we support each other. We, you know, if I see that, hey, Vinny's really having a rough time with SEO, we're like, what can we do to help you? I mean, there's nothing I can do to help him, but you know, Dylan jumps in and helps, and like
we're collaborative.
Yeah, everybody's able to help at some capacity. You know, even if it's just you're having a stressful day and you need, you know, 5 or 10 minutes to just kind of blow off steam. You know, you walk to the other office and you guys just hang out for a couple minutes. You know, completely just brain break. I mean, you know, even if they can't help with the work, they can help just kind of settle back into
ease the pressure.
Yeah.
What advice do you guys have to other employers who are hiring a younger demographic? So there's, you know, every single generation has generational things. Like there's always like the baby boomers hated my generation when we were coming in. I don't even know that there is, I wouldn't say there's like that much animosity towards a younger generation, but I definitely think that from talking to employers or owners who are in the older demographic, there's definitely a little bit of a difference in, you know, the way that you guys were raised is different than us. The environments that you're in is different than us. And that makes the way that you are in the workplace different. And so I think that's confusing for sometimes for people if they don't know how to understand you better. So like what advice do you have to other employers who are maybe bringing young college graduates or people in their 20s or early 30s into the workforce? Like what do you think that they should be paying attention to? What's important to you when you're looking at a job?
I think the biggest thing, and I think this even goes for not just our demographic, but flexibility. Like if you offer flexibility as an employer, that is huge. So like for me, flexibility, it's like, I mean, like if you, especially for like people with young families, like if you've got your kiddo and you got to drop them off at daycare and you're usually in at 9, but you're in at 9:30 instead because you had to drop your kid off, just work an extra half hour. It's no problem. It's no big deal. Hey, you're not feeling good, work from home today. Like just that flexibility of like, you've got family obligations, or, you know, if your kid has a basketball game and you have to leave at 3:45, so you come in a little bit early. And like, I know a lot of employers, it's like, okay, you got to be here at 9 and you got to leave here at 5. And like any sort of deviation from that, obviously there are certain jobs you can't do that. But I think just that flexibility is super important, because I think especially our generation, like we've seen the generation of like, I'm going to make work my life. And then those, you know, your kids get neglected or you're miserable because all you're doing is working. And then we don't want that for our kids. Like, I know I don't want that for my kids. And so just being able to be there for them, be there for family stuff, or, you know, whatever, just like having that flexibility of your schedule, especially, I think is just like,
so it makes it a lot less stressful. I always say that let me manage my own resources. So time is a huge resource. And if I can know that, you know, while I'm juggling being a mom to 4 kids, a wife, taking care of a house, and which this was true for me before we started Fierce, if I knew, it is hugely impactful to say, okay, I got to go home because I have to wait for that stupid fridge repairman for 2 hours, and I can either work from home during that time or I can make up that time later. For me personally, it made me more dedicated as an employee to have that flexibility. So then I was willing to go above and beyond. Do you feel like that is true?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I think it's an investment if you provide flexibility. And I mean, obviously it's not the case for every single employee. You're going to have employees that take advantage of it, but like, especially your high performers, if you offer flexibility, they're going to give you flexibility in return. So I feel like in our situation, like, you know, there are times where I have to leave early for a doctor's appointment or something. But if you shoot me an email at 9:30 and you're like, hey, you know, code red, we've got this thing that needs taken care of, like, I have no problem. Gladly, I'll take care of it. And it's like no big deal.
Well, I mean, you've definitely had to do late shoots. Occasionally have to do a weekend thing. So
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. We actually, we had a website go down on Thanksgiving one year, and it was Black Friday weekend. So that's kind of a big deal. So Dylan had to like jump on the computer and bring that website back up. And so, I mean, that's one of the reasons we want to provide flexibility, because that's just how things go. When you have an entire company or person's business riding on you, that's a big deal if the website's going down. So we need an all hands on deck approach.
It's also nice to clock out at 3 o'clock on a Friday.
Yeah,
I mean,
flexibility
like,
is just like it's one of my favorite
I'm actually,
things about here.
I'm a little concerned about the Fridays because I'm actually not concerned about it, but I think that it's becoming too normal that everybody's out like by 1 or 2 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, sometimes clients are going to have to email us at 4 o'clock on Friday, and we might actually have to fix the problem. So like, okay, but yes, most of the time Fridays people are like,
I mean, I still get like my emails to my phone and stuff. So if like I'll always check them if I get an email, even if it's like on the weekend or whatnot. Just, you know, if it's anything important, you know, I can hop on and fix something if it needs fixed or whatnot. But it is very nice being able to leave it, you know, like 1:30 on a Friday or
1:30.
Like, yeah. Or
he was working longer days earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do that. No,
I'm
just kidding.
Okay, but you're a little bit younger than Garrett. Let's just highlight that for a second. Is there anything else that you would add to like advice you'd give to employers, maybe to somebody who's like more fresh out of college, which is where you were at?
I just think like being open to like differences and open to change, because I feel like how we were talking about, you know, older generations always have a problem with like the generation that comes after them. I think it's just because like you get comfortable in something, and you know, most people don't like change, so you know, they see something they don't like and immediately they're like, yeah, no, like they don't want to give somebody a chance or whatnot or whatever. I think just being open to change and open to people, you know, having different approaches to something or whatnot is important for anybody.
So like Gen Xers and baby boomers didn't understand that millennials wanted to have purpose in their work. That was a really big like thing they just don't understand, because they had to just go do the job, right? Like they had to do any job, which there is still that to a degree. I think you're Gen Z technically, right? Are you a millennial?
No, I think I'm Gen Z.
I think you are too. Do you feel like that is true for your generation as well, or is it something else? Like, what do you feel like is your overarching, like you want to work for a company that what?
I feel like my generation really just wants to be able to like be free and do what they want. Like
you're not working for work, you're working to live, right?
Like you just want to be doing like what you enjoy, and you know,
but you don't want to hate what you're doing at the same time.
Exactly.
Like you want to like your work, but the purpose of work is so that you can go to Montana like you did last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I was like that in my 20s too. I definitely think that I would say even now, I don't know. It's like what I'm looking for is like, I wouldn't say my life is all about work, although you probably can't always tell that by how much I'm working right now, but I started a business, so that's what I signed up for. I would say that I underestimated my potential in my 20s because I did live for the weekend and everything outside of work. Like I was 100% dedicated in my roles always. Like I was a high performer. I loved it, but it didn't like when I walked out, I loved my life outside of work too. And now I love what I do so much that it doesn't feel like work to be working on the weekend, or like when I'm scrolling and I'm reading LinkedIn posts or consuming content and it's about marketing, like it doesn't weigh on me like, oh, I just have grown. The older I've gotten, the more naturally curious I am. And it feels like it's more of a blend, I guess. But I don't know if that's normal or not. Regardless of that, I just know that I realized I was probably capable of a lot more younger than like never when I was 25 be like, oh, you're going to own a marketing agency and you're going to lead a team of 20 people and growing. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just a little bit wild when you think about like what you're actually capable of.
Well, and okay, so I got a question for you, Vinny. Is it more that because I'm technically a millennial, but we're like 3 years apart. So
no,
like,
you're not.
yeah, we are. He's 25, right?
No.
I'm about to turn 24.
Okay, so 5 years apart. That's not that much. Is it that, or is it like a lot of times in our 20s we haven't found what we are passionate about?
I mean, I think that is a lot of it. I think like I'm fresh out of school still, like within a year, so it's still like, this is my first job. I don't know how long I'll be here. I don't
20
really
years
Yeah.
minimum.
You're not leaving, sorry.
I don't know what I want to do ultimately quite yet. I mean, there's always new things that you like see and you're like, wow, that looks really cool. I'd like to get into that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of unclear.
Well, and that was true for me too. I was in banking in my 20s.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily my passion.
I feel like you'll bounce around quite a bit. I mean, maybe you do stay at, your one job forever.
Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah,
my employees are going to do that though.
Yeah. Except
I mean, maybe you do that, or maybe you bounce around between, 10 different industries and, 10 years. Like I feel like it just sometimes, it depends who you are, but it takes a while to find, what you really belong in or what you really want to be a part of. So.
Because I would have agreed kind of with what you said until like I didn't really figure out what I wanted to do until I was 23, 24. So like I had already went through college, graduated, kind of thought I knew what I wanted to do, and then actually figured out what I wanted to do later.
Mm-hmm.
That's true for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's annoying about college, because you don't want to, it's almost impossible to know that you're going to 100% like the field. And then if what you're going to school for is too broad and it's not specific enough, then you really have no idea. So it takes a little bit of trial and error to figure that out.
Yeah.
Well,
But I also think it takes a little bit of the age and maturity to find your purpose. I don't know. I mean, being in your 20s is figuring out who you are. What is this like when I'm not in school? Because you've been in school for a really long time, and that's a big part of your identity. So then you have to figure out who you actually are, what you're interested in. That's a whole evolution, and so there's a lot of like self growth during that time, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, leading up to college, like all through high school and everything else, like I thought I knew what I wanted to do. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to school for this, and this is what I want to do. And then I got there, and within the first year, I was like, yeah, no, and I completely switched.
What did you start going to school for?
I started going for computer science because I thought I wanted to do all the programming, coding, and when I was growing up, I was like, I want to
You wanted to build video games.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to be in the video game industry. And then I got to school and I was doing the programming stuff, and it was cool for a little bit. And then, it really ramped up quick, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to be locked in the back room and code my life away. And, It's what I thought I wanted.
What's interesting
and I
about that
was
is you
doing
get
it,
to
and
do
I
a
did
teeny
not.
tiny bit of that a little bit in your job now. So not enough that you're
but
just
it's not not. I mean, it got
I
crazy
know.
real quick, and I was like, yeah, no.
I mean, I kind of know. I've seen enough coding screens to know that if that's all you were doing all day long, I would probably be seen sideways after like an hour. I can't imagine just.
It was really cool for a little bit, like low level, but it quickly ramps up, and I was not interested in continuing that. So I switched.
I also think like what you do here, like there's a more direct link to like making an impact for people. Like if
I was thinking about that too. Like you really like people, probably more than you realized you like people.
I think so. Yeah.
that's what I've learned. My big lesson from year 2 of here is how much I like interacting with people.
Both
Like-
people on the team and with the clients.
Oh yeah, like I thought like I mean I've always been a people person, so I thought I like talking to people, but like one of the things I like the most is, so for example, one of the things I found over the past year is my favorite type of content to do is personal branding. And it's because I get to sit down with a person and just like pick their brain about like
I know
whatever
you
their
always walk away and you're like, oh, I learned something.
Exactly.
I learned something.
Yeah, and like I think you always talk about how like we're like the internal marketing team for people, and like what we do directly affects how successful a business can be and how much money people make and how much raises they can give their employees, which then affect their employees' families. And I think like with what you're saying, like you could sit in the back room and code your life away, or you could do SEO, which actually makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I didn't realize how much I actually needed to be around people to like be effective at work, because like I said, I thought I wanted to be that guy who was just, I do love my personal space and quiet, but I definitely do go crazy after, a few too many hours of being by myself.
There's
so
a
it's
misconception.
Nice to have the team here, and
Yeah.
Garrett popping in and out.
There's a misconception about what an introvert is, and people think that. Well, sometimes I think there's a negative connotation with it because they think that you don't like people, but it's not that you don't like people. It's just that in order to reset, you need time alone. So like you need that quiet time. Like when you go home, you probably need to defrag a little bit, but that doesn't mean you're not relational. It's definitely something I have observed in you in the year that you're here. You really love your team. You will go above and beyond to help them. You sat an entire social media class for Taylor just to support her, which is not even your job. Like you go above and beyond. And I think that has been something I've observed you learn about yourself. I think, you didn't even know that you were going to like the people you worked with.
Yeah, honestly, I think that was one of the things I was like on the fence about when I was interviewing here. Is I was like, because I knew how like team oriented and like focused
You were
it was.
scared
I was
about.
I was like, ooh, like I don't really want to do that, but
The truth comes out.
I would have regretted that.
Yeah.
I
I think
being the reason I wouldn't have chosen to be here. Yeah, I definitely would have.
something else I've kind of been observing when we're having SEO conversations is I think the next thing for you is to figure out how do we get you a better connection with the clients, because you do want to have a better understanding of what their goals are, so that there's a direct connection from hearing from them to what you are doing and how that's impacted. You'll be able to create better SEO strategies with that. So far, because you've been new, we've kind of fielded a lot of that connection, but I think we need to figure out how to create a better, and we're doing that with every department, not just with you. Like you said, we want to be like we want to be their external, internal marketing team. And it's really hard to do that if you don't meet them. Like if you're not spending time with them, we had to balance that with actually getting the work done. But we got to figure out how to make sure that all of our clients are connected to the people who are working on their projects.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the new processes that we're starting to do, like when we go out to do like the on-site.
In the onboarding process,
like
when we're doing the
on-site visitations or whatever, I think that'll be
helpful
moving forward for sure.
All right, let's pivot just a little bit. You guys are like, we literally have 25% men here, and you're the only two that are in the office all the time. The other 2 to 3, if we count Steve, are barely here, like 1 day a week. So tell the whole world what it's like to work with a bunch of women.
It's not that bad.
It's really not.
Yeah.
That's great.
No,
Can we
it's
please
not.
just clip that? It's not that bad.
I mean,
I would say we're not a very dramatic group.
No. Oh my goodness, no. There's like
No.
no drama. It's actually kind of weird that there's no drama. Like I've worked in environments with 50-year-old men where there's more drama, but
They're so much more dramatic, I feel
oh
like.
yeah.
Thank you. So we're gonna get that. Men are more dramatic.
No,
I
that's not what I
actually
said.
I could argue that you two bring the drama to the team. I think I have case studies to prove
I don't know
for
about
both
that.
of you. Garrett, I'm gonna look for the video proof somewhere of a Garrett crash out.
You know, I was pouting yesterday because you were dumping water on my good ideas. So
Which good ideas?
my awesome long form videos.
I like your long form
I know,
videos.
but I want to do them now, and you want to do them later.
Hey, if we have enough time to do them now, let's do them now.
I know, it's
I'm
okay.
always conservative when it comes to time capacity.
No, it's really not bad though, and I think a lot of that just comes down to the standards you guys have set. Like you just don't tolerate it, and I think that's in work environments. I don't think it's really age or gender. I think it's really honestly just what is the standard that's being set and what's being tolerated. And if you tolerate people being, nipping at each other, like it's gonna happen. I also think we have a pretty good self-policing team where we've got people who will just like call it out for what it is. Like if I'm being dramatic, Ashley will be like, "You're being dramatic." Like,
Yeah, we can check each other if we need to.
or like even like we have a team of very apologetic people too. Like I get
Over apologizing.
yeah, I get a text at least once a week from Kelsey being like, "I'm so sorry I was mean to you today," and I'm like,
You didn't even know.
I talked to you one time today. What are you talking about? So I think the standard has been set, and we have a good group of conscientious people who don't want to be the problem.
But overall, it's no different. You're saying it's no different working here with a bunch of girls versus having a team full of guys. I would say it's true. What's interesting is like 90% of our clients are men, but 75% of our staff is women. Overall, it's not very surprising to me. Marketing is an emotional thing. So in general, I feel like guys just tend to be a little bit less emotional, but marketing, messaging, all of those things, it's driven by emotion. And I feel like women connect with that really well. So I don't know.
Well, and I think too, typically I feel like women tend to over communicate, whereas men tend to under communicate. I mean, I don't know how many times I go home and Amanda's like, "What did your friend say?" And I'm like, I don't know. We just talked about whatever. And, she wants all these details I didn't ask for. And I know, especially in my role, like I need that over communication. I need way more information than I want, because then I can distill down what I need to go out and be best prepared. So I do feel like your typical communication styles, it does actually help.
Yeah, I also agree with that. I mean, our purpose statement is marketing focused on relationships and results, but truly communication used to be in there, and it's a huge part of the way that we do business. I am definitely an over communicator. Ask my husband. He's sometimes like, "Okay, that's enough now, Lindsey." So that probably helps shape the overall culture, because I want to know as much as possible. I wanted to know that when I worked just for one company doing marketing. I would proactively put information in front of the business owners that I worked for, and I feel like that's then how we manage clients. Often they don't know what's important, and they won't know unless we tell them. And so we want to proactively bring that communication. I feel like things are missed if we're not talking about every aspect of it, but also everybody's bringing a good perspective. And so we want to know, like, you might have a perspective on a client, what's working or what's not working that I might be missing. And so there's always going to be that team collaboration as well. So,
well, and I think that proactive communication is also what keeps the culture where it's at, because like if there is a problem or a perceived problem down the line, the communication is proactive. The conversation is had before something becomes dramatic or could become dramatic, and it kind of just keeps things chill.
Clarity is kindness.
Literally just yesterday we were talking about this, like towards the end of the day. So like me personally, I'm more of like a logical person. So like when it comes to somebody bringing a problem to me, I just kind of want to help solve it immediately. I'm going to give you like, did you try this? Did you try this? Did you try this to fix it? Other people will just want more of like a comfort versus an actual solution. And I feel like we have a good balance here where like, I may be the person you want to come to if you really want an answer, trying to help solve something, because I'm not so good at, showing like the empathetic side of it and, just helping comfort your feelings for it. But maybe, Ashley's a lot better at, you just want a little bit of comfort, not so much, solving your issue. I feel like we have a good mix.
I actually think that that's
here.
true too. When I think about the team, like I'm probably more of the logical problem solver, even though I'm a girl. But if somebody comes to me immediately, whether it's my kid or one of you guys, I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? Here's our options. I'm just starting to work through solutions right away. I actually have to sometimes stop myself and say, okay, do you want me to just listen? Or, like when you have teenage daughters, sometimes they just want you to listen to them. But I need that clarity up front. Same with team members too. But when I think about the team that we have, like I could start making a list. Here's our empathetic listeners and here's our problem solvers, and you need a good balance so you have both sides.
Yeah, and you just kind of need to know what somebody needs in the moment. That's literally we just had that conversation yesterday, like before we left. So.
Well, I think you even see that within like that dichotomy even between you and Rachel. Like you said, you're like a problem solver. So if like a project goes wrong, you're like, all right, what do we need to do to fix it? Rachel will be like, are you okay? Like, I know that project didn't go so well. Like, how are you feeling? And so you have that dichotomy of like someone who's, okay, how are you
saying I don't
feeling?
care about your feelings?
No,
Garrett?
you
I'm
do,
just kidding,
but,
I know.
but you're much more analytical. You're like, okay, what are the steps that we need to make so that this,
To that regard, it is usually unemotional to me too.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
if you mess up, it's really okay. We just need to, let's analyze that, figure it out. And like, if let's say it took you way longer to do something, or like, okay, let's just figure it out. Like, what do we need to know about this from the next time? We talked to a client yesterday. We're working through a really big project. And I said, it's a little bit of guesswork on the pricing. And I was like, well, we're going to learn from this. So there's that aspect of it as well. How comfortable are you both making mistakes now that you have been at Fierce? Do you have the expectation of perfection, or do you feel safe in the environment to like test something, make a mistake?
I mean, personally, I want to be as perfect as I can be, but I know it's not possible. And I know we have high expectations of our work here, but I'm not afraid to, make a mistake or fail, because I know, we'll learn from it and we'll get past it, and then it'll get better from here on out. So I'm not worried about making a mistake, because I know we can figure out a way to solve that issue.
I think you know my answer.
What, you want to be perfect all the time?
Yeah.
You hate mistakes?
Yeah.
They definitely bring you more anxiety than me.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I think from a team standpoint, yeah, I know I can like mess up and you guys aren't going to like yell at me, but I personally hate making mistakes. Like, don't know why, just don't like it.
I mean, I do too. I don't think anybody likes making mistakes, but it's inevitable.
I would say that if you look at the world or people in general, there are some people who don't care about quality, or there's some people who just don't care as much. Yeah. So I want to perform well for the client, but I overall, my theory on marketing is that if you're not trying something, like if we don't try enough things, you're going to fail at some of those things. Marketing is constantly evolving. And so we have to be willing to push ourselves to try something new, whether it's a new graphic design thing or a video element or something. Like if we're not pushing ourselves because we're comfortable and we know what will look really good, but like our world changes too much. We are never going to have the comfort of just doing the same thing for the next 20 years. I mean, the things that have changed in the 4 years since starting Fierce, the things that are going to change over the next year, sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming to think about, but we just don't have the choice to stay where we're at. So that's always my encouragement. Sometimes we try to talk about that even in the interview process, because people, especially like if you're younger and you got really good grades all the way through school, you did really well, and you have this, like your Instagram feed looks perfect. So everything you do has always been perfect, and you always did good at sports and all of those things. And then you come here and you try something and fail. Yikes. Like watch out for the crash, because we've had to experience like talking people through a few of those situations. So
you just gotta be willing to test the waters, and
we've tried to make it so that everybody feels safe to do that, but it's a work in progress.
Some people more than others.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and it's never been like, for me, it's never been because like I've made a mistake and you guys have like oh my goodness, you made this horrible mistake. You're such an idiot. It's always just been like,
yeah, you're going to beat yourself up way worse than I could ever. I don't even
100%.
need to do anything to you.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you just.
Is that how you were as a kid too? Like you got in trouble?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, just ask mom about it.
You were
sometime.
easy to discipline.
Yeah. Oh, like, well, it's my old boss. She never yelled at me. She would just be like, "It's okay," and then I would just like, "No, it has to be perfect. I will go fix this." Like she didn't even have to tell me it was bad. Mm-hmm. So, I'm working on it. I feel like I'm getting a little better.
You have gotten better.
Yeah.
I think that you have too much going on for you. You just realize at this point.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your transparency today. We really appreciate it. I can't wait to have another episode of Garrett and Vinny. We're going to have to start calling this something special.
Hot guys, hot takes.
Hot guys, not hot. No. We didn't get any hot takes. Did we get hot takes today?
We didn't.
We did. We kind of got a few. We'll see. We'll see what the viewers think. So, okay. Well, if you loved this episode today, stay tuned. Check out Torch Talk for any other episodes that might be helpful for you.